An everyday item became a deadly weapon when this husband's jealous rage spiraled out of control.
Were the scissors that were just sitting around, or did you bring them with?
No, they were just sitting around right there. I just grabbed whatever was right there.
This is Inside the Crime, presented by Law&Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner. Before we get to this case, there's a reason Law&Crime is the go-to spot for true crime content, just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest personal injury law firm. They have more than 1,000 attorneys and have recovered $25 billion from more than 500,000 clients. In the past few months alone, a client in Florida received $12 million when insurance offered just $350,000. And in Pennsylvania, another client was awarded $26 million. 40 times the insurer's offer. Morgan & Morgan makes it so easy to fight for what you deserve, you can even start a claim from your phone. So if you're injured, you can start a claim at forthepeople.com/insidethecrime. Click the link below or scan the QR code on your screen. He made a long drive just to confront his wife, but that decision led to devastating consequences.
I had the blood on my face, I hugged her, I was like, baby, I'm sorry. I said, I just kept saying, I'm sorry.
It's June 20th, 2023. We're in College Station, Texas. It's about 10 in the morning when a 911 call comes in. The caller told dispatchers something terrible just happened. By 11 a.m., EMS and police officers are on scene. For residents in the neighborhood, though, little was known about what was going on. So as police flooded the quiet neighborhood, College Station PD had to put out a series of tweets, including heavy police presence in the 14,000 block of Renee Lane. Avoid the area. Updates will be provided. An hour later, they posted this update. CSPD officers, detectives, and crime scene techs are on scene processing a crime scene. A suspect has been detained as the investigation continues. There is no threat to the public. Then, through an investigation at the scene, it was determined that a domestic disturbance had occurred between a husband and a wife. The wife was fatally stabbed during that altercation. Police later ID'd the victim as 44-year-old Sherry Jutson. She was found stabbed to death in the main bedroom of her home. Investigators say Sherry's husband, Brian Jutson Sr., made a run for it, but he didn't get too far before officers caught up to him. By 12:30 that afternoon, he was already in an interrogation room. He described his marriage to Sherry as far from perfect because he felt something was off.
I don't know, I have my suspicions. We've been married 5 years, been together 6 years.
With who?
My wife, Sherry Jutson.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had my suspicions that she's been cheating. And then last year, I actually found evidence that she was cheating with her sisters, with her brother-in-law's brother, Jesse Gutierrez.
Okay.
He actually just left the house right before I showed up.
Did you see him or what?
No, I was trying to help her make it and catch him, but when I walked in the house, she jumped up and was shocked. She was like, "What are you doing here?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I know you." I said, "I know he was here." I said, "I've been married to you. I've been with you for 6 years, married for 5. I said, "You think I don't know when something's wrong?" I said, "I know something's wrong." I said, "That's why I came home unannounced." I said, "I would have came in the middle of the night." I said, "But I didn't think this morning would go the way it did. I figured if I would have came last night and actually caught them physically, that it would have went like that."
So, what do you think would have happened if you would have came last night?
I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, when you actually know that the person that you love is sleeping with somebody else. Yeah. And then not only that, I mean, he's almost like family to them because his brother just married into the family 2 years ago. Yeah. So everywhere we go, he's there. They like him. I mean, he's a funny guy. We would hang around, so they invite him everywhere we go. It was just like 3 weeks ago when we were at her sister's house and he showed up and I got mad and kind of caused a ruckus with him, you know. It was like, you know, why are you showing up here? You know we're here. You know I know you're sleeping with my wife. It just kind of escalated and got worse and worse. And then caught her again in January, and then I caught her 5 more times this year. It's just like, then I ended up breaking my hand, so I was home for 2 months in rehab. And as soon as I went back to work again,
how did you break your hand?
I had fell. And it just broke. I hit right on the knuckle. So then, like, as soon as I go back to work, come home, bam, catch her again with Snapchat, and we're going to delete it again. Yeah. Talking to him, I was like, evidently, I said, you have feelings for this guy. I said, if you want to be with him, be with him. And even all the last 3 days, you know, my messages, you can see it, even this morning, I was like, you definitely in love with this guy. I said, so won't you just go ahead and just fess up and be honest? I said, I'll go move my stuff out and we can just move on. And she was like, no, baby. She said, he treats me really good and you know, makes me feel great. I have a great time with him. He's funny and this and this. And I was like, but wasn't he just sleeping with your sister and they thought the baby was his? I said, so why are you sleeping with this guy? I said, this is the kind of guy that you want? I said, you know, and he just got out of prison like 4 years ago, and I was like, this is what you want. You know, I was like, you know what, if that's who you want, I said, you know what, I just want you to be happy. And like I said, it's in my text. I was like, if that's what you want, I just want you to be happy. I said, if I got to let you go, you know, for me to hurt for a while, I said, that's fine. I said, but you have to be honest for once. Stop lying. You have to be honest. I said, every time I bring it up, you jump down my throat. I said, which is a day giveaway. I said, but why not just get it over with? You know, I said, here I am. I said, I just invested everything I had. I put $20,000 on land just in March. I said, I took out half my retirement to work on the house out there. I said, now I'm pretty much flat broke, and you're not investing nothing into it. I said, so I'm showing you my love for you. Mm-hmm. I said, and then now her job cut back, so she wasn't hardly bringing in the money right now to pay her employees or anything. So I'm like, hey, well, we're a couple, we're married, you know, I'll pick up the slack, whatever. But I'm like, I said, it's just so frustrating because I'm actually pitting for it, you know. I said, but like I said, if that's what you want, so be it. She's like, no, and she just last 8 months, just no, baby, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I was like, all right. I said, but if you want to be with me, then why do they keep catching you every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I said, come on, you're kind of acting, you know, contradicting yourself every time.
Brian's suspicions consumed him. He kept pressing his wife for answers. By the time he drove home from work, he was filled with rage.
I grabbed her, and then when I grabbed her...
How'd you grab her?
Just kind of around her neck.
With one hand? Both
yeah,
hands?
One hand.
Do you remember which hand?
Right hand.
Okay.
And then I just grabbed her right there, and then all of a sudden, she was like, baby, stop. And then I stopped. And she was like, please, we can move, whatever. And I just kind of blacked out after that. After that, just everything happened so fast.
So what happened? What do you remember?
I remember grabbing some scissors.
Mm-hmm. What did you do with the scissors?
I stabbed her with the scissors around the neck, and then I don't know how many times I stabbed her.
Yeah. Was it like once or multiple times? Or?
Multiple times. I don't know, because the whole time I was just like, baby, I'm sorry. I love you. I begged you. I just couldn't stop. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just angry and upset about being hurt for so long, huh?
I begged her. Like I said, you can see in my text, I begged her all the way up until yesterday. It's like, please, I said, I could see you in love. This morning, actually. And I was like, baby, please. I said, I could see you in love with him. I said, just tell me the truth and let me go. Just let me go. And she was like, no, you know, there's nobody. You know, when she called me, she was like, no. She said, I told you I want to be with you. Stop asking me about it. She was like, how can we move forward if we keep bringing it up? Mm-hmm. I said, well, how can I not bring it up if you keep doing it?
Yeah.
I said, it kind of works together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, you know, you tell me not to bring it up, and yet the day before you just talked to him.
Yeah.
How are we going to move on from that? I said, you know, it takes time, you know. I said, dedication, you know, people actually doing right. I said, we have to be loyal, we have to be honest. I said, if we stand a chance, then we have to put forth the effort together. It can't just be me. You're saying me.
Right.
I said, it has to be both of us. I said, if not, just let me go.
Yeah.
You know, but she wouldn't let me go. She wouldn't ever just confess.
Yeah.
Until I seen the text that said everything.
Yeah. Were the scissors over just sitting around, or did you bring them with you?
No, they were just sitting around right there. I just grabbed whatever was right there.
Do you remember what they looked like?
I think they were aqua scissors, the handle at the end. I think they were just like maybe 5 inches long.
Which hand?
4 or 5 inches.
Do you remember which hand the scissors were in?
My right hand.
Right hand. Were you holding her down or just on top of her, or how did she stay down?
Yeah, I was just kind of holding her down with my left hand.
So when you grabbed onto her and Did you force her to the ground, or like how when did you start to
No, she just
stab
kind
her?
of fell back.
Okay. What do you know? What made you stop stabbing her? The scissors.
I was just sitting there thinking. I was like, I don't know. I was just thinking like, this is the woman I love. You know, like I was like, I love this. And I was like sitting there, and I was just started hugging her. And when I went into bed and the bathroom, I had the blood on my face. So I hugged her. I was like, baby, I'm sorry. I said, I just kept telling her I'm sorry. And I was just like, I love you. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, why can't you just leave me or tell me? You know, I was like, I begged you. I was like, I'm so sorry. I just love you so much.
Was she moving at all at that point, or was she responding?
She was. And she was just like, baby, stop. And I stopped, and she was like, I'm already dying. She was like, stop, please. I was like, baby, I'm sorry. I just started hugging her and kissing her. I was like, I'm sorry, baby. And I just kept kissing her and hugging her, putting my face up against her. I was like, I don't know what to do now. I was like, it went way beyond the point of return. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, baby, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, why can't you just be honest? Why can't you just tell me? Let me go. And that's all I remember.
What did you do afterwards, or I guess, so you were talking to her and apologizing to her. What did you do after that?
After that, I went in the bathroom, washed up.
Did you take a shower, or what?
Yeah, I took a shower.
Okay.
I went and took a shower because I wanted to go call my 9 kids and see them all real quick.
Yeah.
Let them know that I was sorry for what I've just done, and I apologize. You know, I've never done anything like that, and I was like, it was just too much to bear.
It's not clear if the infidelity was true or not. Either way, Sherry's death was brutal and horrific. Investigators later confirmed Brian strangled her, then stabbed her more than 30 times, all while children were inside the home.
I don't know, I just kind of panicked, didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I was just thinking to myself, I was like, you know, what do you do? What did you do? I was like, I think her son's in the room, and I was like, I can't have him walk in here.
Yeah.
See his mom. I was like, he'll be traumatized for life, which he is anyway, but it would have been even worse.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know what to do, so then I left. Well, I kind of put a blanket over her because I didn't want him to walk in to see her.
Gotcha.
And then I called my oldest daughter.
Who's your oldest?
Brianna.
Okay.
Jutson. She was the one that called the ambulance and everything.
Mm-hmm.
She called me and I was like, baby, I'm sorry. I said, I don't know what happened. I said, I just blacked out. She said, what did you do, Dad? What did you do? I was like, I'm sorry. She was like, well, what did you do? And then I told her, and she was like, no, you didn't. I was like,
what did you tell her?
I just told her, I said, I think I killed her. I said, she was like, are you sure? I said, I don't know. I said, I just blacked out. I said, but I think I did.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I'm going to call the ambulance and everybody. I said, okay. I said, well, I don't know what to do. I said, I just wanted to call y'all and tell y'all I'm sorry. You know, this and this. And then that's all I did. I just called everybody, my kids, my mom and sister, and told them I was sorry for what I did.
So when you kept walking back to her, did you ever try to do any life-saving measures?
I kept checking. I kept feeling her chest. I put my head up to her chest. That's why I had all the blood on me from laying on her head. And I kept trying to hear for a heartbeat and everything. And put my head, trying to feel. And it felt like I could still feel the heartbeat and everything. So I called my daughter. And it faded. And I kept going back to check on her. Figured she was gone.
Was that when you called your daughter around 10 or so? Or was that different?
Around, I don't know what time.
Whenever you called her, that's when...
Yeah, that's when I told her.
Okay.
And she was like, where's she at? And I told her where she was at.
Yeah. So then after that, did you take a shower? You said you took a shower?
To get the blood off.
Did you do that before or after you called your daughter?
Before.
Okay.
Because I was shaking.
Yeah. Did you go to the sink and wash your hands or anything?
No, I went in the shower. I looked at myself and I had blood on me, and I was like,
sure.
I didn't want to see what I just did.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's the main reason. Dad and I didn't want to walk out and her son see me.
Yeah.
My main thing, like at that, I didn't cross the line to where I was like, I didn't want him to see any of that or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I mean, this is a hurdle for life, but I think that would have been really, really traumatizing.
Yeah, absolutely.
To see your parent or something like that.
When you left, did you lock the door, prop the door open?
I left it unlocked. I should have left it unlocked.
Okay.
I left it unlocked so everybody can get in.
That's right. Did you check on the kids or just? You didn't?
I was scared to check on them. I kind of put my ear up to it, and I was like...
To the kids' door?
Yeah, and I was like, all right, they're still asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of quietly went out, kept talking to my daughter. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she would just tell me, Dad, what did you do? What did you do? She's like, I'm gonna call. I was like, all right. I was like, I don't know what to do. I can't think. I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I was like, it don't feel real. It just didn't feel real. Even when I hugged her and kissed her, I didn't even feel like that happened. It just didn't feel real.
Yeah.
That's why I kept hugging her and kissing her. It just didn't, I don't know. It didn't feel like I just did something, so...
How come we never, because, I mean, you talked about filming the pulse, how come we didn't call, like, 911, like, hey,
I was just in shock. I was like, is it fading or is it not? I'm shaking. I was like, do I feel it? Do I not feel it? And I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And all I could think about was call my daughter because, I mean, she's my oldest, and I'll call her. We talk all the time, and she's an RN.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So she's an RN, so all I could think about was call her. I can't even think of the number 911. Mm-hmm. It just never crossed my mind. The only thing that crossed my mind was call my daughter. That's all I could think about. Because the whole family, like my dad, my brothers, everybody, we all lean towards her for everything.
Yeah. She seems like she's pretty pretty smart girl.
Yeah, she got a 4-year degree.
She is, we were talking about some stuff outside of it.
She is real smart. That's our oldest. Yeah.
So, after you felt her and you felt like the pulse had left, is that when you went and got in the shower?
I can't recall. I know. Once it was gone, I mean, that's when because I stayed right there by her, and then I got up and I was like, this can't be real, and I went back, and I can't. It's kind of just blacked out. I just know I kept going back, checking her or whatever, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I just kept kissing her, holding her.
Was she moving at that point, or just kind of limp, or?
No, she wasn't moving. No,
Was she saying anything at that point either?
No.
How long or how much time do you think had passed since the stabbing and you in the shower? How long were you there with her before you got in the shower?
Not very long. Like, when the time that it actually started?
Yes, sir.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell by time. Sometimes when you feel like something lasts for 30 minutes, it can actually last like 2 or 3. I really don't know.
What time do you think you got to the house?
I got there right around about 9:40.
Do you just remember looking at a clock, or just what?
I was looking at the clock the whole time I was on the way, because I was like, is he going to be there? Is he going to be there? And I was like, I know he's got to go to work.
Hopefully I beat him before he goes to work, kind of thing.
Actually, I was kind of hoping I wouldn't.
That's right.
Because if so, I would have left last night, and I would have actually caught them sleeping together in the bed.
Yeah.
And I figured maybe if I waited, and I wasn't even mad when I got there, I didn't get mad until she get irate with me like it was my fault.
Yeah.
Like, I was calm.
Brian Jutson was charged with murder and held at the Brazos County Jail on a $500,000 bond. In 2025, nearly 2 years after the fatal attack, he pled guilty to murder. But the punishment phase was in front of a jury, so they heard evidence of the attack plus the obsessive texts and calls made from Brian to Sherry in the days leading up to the murder. By November 13th of 2025, Brian learned his sentence, life in prison. Online records as of this recording show Brian Jutson Sr. is still in the Brazos County Jail before he's moved to another facility within the Texas Department of Corrections. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Inside the Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner.